so nice to be back in your living room or your bedroom, wherever you're watching me. I'm Kelly, and you're watching A Conversation with Kelly once again, and I'm a woman on a hustle. Tonight, I am with Evander Holyfield. I know y'all can't believe it. I still can't believe it. This man, he, I can't say enough about him. He is a champion in so many ways. This is an interview like none I have never seen he given. I've probably maybe asked him 3 questions, y'all. And not because I was tongue tied, because he spoke so freely. He was just that open and honest and just free and candid. And so just all I can say is that he was just wonderful, and he would not let me spend the night. I asked. I promise you. That's not on camera. That's like off camera. I was shameless. I did. I asked him. I was like, "Can I please just spend the night?" He asked me to ask his wife. I didn't ask her because sister girl probably was not gonna say yes. So because I didn't want to just be in no guest room. Because I could have went to a 5-star hotel for that. He is absolutely the people's champion. And it is my pleasure to be in the home of Mr. Evander Holyfield. Mr. Holyfield, with my whole heart, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be here. Thank you for this wonderful house and being such a down-to-earth, normal kind of guy in it. Tell me, how, there's so many, I have a million questions for you, but what strikes me the most about you when you enter, it's like everything I wanted to ask you went out the window because you're such a easy, normal guy. How have you been able to remain so humble?
Well, I'm a Christian for one thing, but I guess the most important thing is how I was brought up, how my mother instilled in me. Never forget where you come from. So when you remember where you come from, humble beginning, I'm the youngest of 9 in the family. I'm the one that was told wasn't gonna be much. And that's when my grandmother used to pray for me all the time because I was the most active kid in the family. So I got more whooping than everybody. I got 3 whoopings a day. But my grandmama used to pray for me, said, Lord, you got to change him because his mama gonna kill him. Like that. And so, but my mama was very structured. She was very structured. I had to be on time. I had to yes ma'am, no ma'am. And one of the, I guess, the harder thing, being able to accept the bitter with the sweet, she would always say. And so when you're young, you don't understand. You just feel that everyone's picking on you. Everybody get a chance to do what they want to do, but you don't get a chance to do nothing. But because I continue to trust in my mom and trust in what she say, I became the person who I am. And so my mother said, just would tell me everything is not gonna go your way always. That on this earth you're gonna have tribulation. So you find out that even in the Bible talk about that. So I found out when I got older, when I started reading that Bible for myself to become better, all these things that my mother was teaching me, these things came out of the Bible. She just didn't say the Bible said this. She said it, and for me to do it. And so I find myself, being able to have to humble myself and not judge other people because no one choose their parents, skin color and all this. There's some things that we got that we didn't ask for and we happy about it. We got some things that we got that we didn't ask for that we're not too happy about. But it's a balance. And with me realizing who God is, he's no perspective person, so So someone else is handling the situation better. It don't mean that they better than me. It's just they have learned how to handle their situation. I have to learn how to handle my situation. Where in other words, you have to be able to take the plank out your eye where you can see how to help somebody get the speck out their eye.
Your faith in your mother has served you well. And is there times when you felt like you were just going a little bit too far, just doing something that you may not have, should have done, or didn't think that it was? Could you hear your mother in your voice, in your head, pulling you back?
Well, it's realistic. My mother have told me the same thing so many times. So you know it already. So you hear the echo of what it's saying. And I, sometimes, as a kid growing up, even as an adult, you just wonder why she is right. My mama was right all the time. But my mother wasn't bashful and let me know that she made these mistakes. So you don't have to make the same mistake I made, because she said she made it for me. And so I realized that I was a fortunate person to have a mother that was honest, to let me know that she made mistakes, and she was able to share some of the things with me that she done wrong, and said, well, this would allow me to be in the situation that she was in at the time. She said, but you don't have to make the mistake. Son, you're going to make mistakes anyway, but you ain't got to make the same one. You don't have to feel what I feel. You can take it to a higher level. And so, but I guess at the age when she was telling me this, I never thought my mother was a girl. So I'm like, it's amazing, when you grow up, sometimes, boys don't actually think their mother was never a girl. How in the world she know this? Because I was trying to figure out, when it came down to dating, how can my mama look at a girl for 5 minutes and say, you trying to get what you can instead of what you want. You don't really want that. And I'm like, how you gonna tell me I don't really want this? Because she didn't explain it to me, the reason why. Now, when once I got older, I understood. Now, only thing that I was trying to do is choose somebody that I thought would be pleasing to my friends, because this is what, my lady's good looking, and cause my friend looking at, know I got something that good.
A trophy.
More so than how a person treats you. Choosing somebody when you're young, you ain't looking at a partner. You're just looking for somebody right there. But because you ain't thinking about, I'm gonna marry this person, and to marry somebody, you need a partner. It's just like, me being an athlete. If I were playing basketball, I'm gonna choose somebody who gonna benefit me.
Right.
I'm not gonna choose somebody that I got to do all the work myself.
Right.
If I'm short, I need to have somebody to get the rebounds for me. So you're gonna have, you know yourself, so you're gonna choose something better. And with my mother was teaching me how to choose partners, to have trust and all that, and it's just all these things that I was fortunate enough to get, because my mother, she wasn't shy by telling me. My mother would let me know that I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm your mother, and I'm gonna be truthful to you. You yet ain't old enough for us to be friends, which I didn't know enough to be friends. So then, so when I got when I turned 21 and 22, and she see how things is, then all of a sudden, then she started taking my advice. So I'm telling you, it was a good adjustment.
It developed into a friendship.
Yeah. So I realized that, and because my sisters and brothers, they would see that if I said something, my mother hearkened unto what I said more so than what they said. And they asked her. My mother said, because he did what I told him to do. And look what because he did what I told him, look how far it got him. So I trust her first, so she realized that at her old age she can trust me. And my mother and I had a wonderful relationship because the fact is that I trust her first.
Yeah, that she was your best friend.
Well, but she became that.
Your
She
best
became
friend.
that. But when it first started, one day she was my mama, and that's all she let me know. She said, if I was wrong, I was wrong. I didn't tell you to do what I did. I told you to do what I say. Like this goes, and and that's one of the biggest things that stick in my mind is that I tell people I'm not a quitter because my mama wasn't a quitter. My mama started having kids at 15 years old. My mama had me at 35.
Oh,
She could have quit.
Yeah.
She could have quit and said, it ain't working. But she seen it through. And me being the last, I was able to accomplish all the things because the mistakes that my mother had made, and she wasn't too embarrassed to realize that I don't want my son to make these mistakes that I allowed my older brother them to make because she was a kid when she had them.
Right. So she had really become into herself by the time she had you. And she was able to, she saw the errors of her ways, so she was able to instill that, and she was honest enough and woman enough to admit the mistakes she made. But you know what, I promise you, I don't believe not one day she ever thought that you were a mistake. You're your mother's legacy.
Well, not so much I think that she thought I was a mistake. I'm just saying all the mistakes she had made,
yeah.
she made the adjustment. See, that's what winners are. Winners not people who don't make mistakes. Winners are the one who correct the mistake, honest enough to face that, I made a mistake. And so if you made a mistake, and the point of making a mistake is things that you don't know. When you don't choose your skin color, you don't choose your parents, you don't choose what neighborhood and all you just know you came up there. So you learn to talk the way everybody else talk, and you learn to do what you see people do. Then all of a sudden, when you become an adult, then people start saying you bad. So what make me bad? What makes you right? You were raised this way and I was raised this way. But to succeed, then you have to put some of them things down. You got to find out what's not right and put them down. And you have to break a lot of habits. You have to break a lot of habits because, because it become a habit. It's not going to mistake. I've been doing this all my whole life, But the things that my mama instilled in me was kind of uncommon that allowed me to be successful. She told me to listen. I listened real well. I followed direction. My mom said, you don't quit because things don't go your way. No, do you want to do it? The only way you can ever get it if you don't quit. So everything that I ever been successful in, because I knew I wanted to do it, and regardless to how hard the time was, I wasn't going to quit. Because I knew if I didn't quit, I was going to get it eventually. And that's how I became the heavyweight champ of the world for the first time. I was told that I could be the champ when I was 8 years old.
I know.
But it took 20 years. Now, if they would have told me it's going to take 20 years, I would have forget it like this. But when you set goals, your goals, you set the goal where you know how far to take it. Okay, when I reach that goal, then what do I do now? I have to create another goal.
So you do like all of us. I find that when I want something really, really bad and I achieve it, then I'm sitting around, what next? Do you, of course, since you've won, you've been a 4-time champion, surpassing even Muhammad Ali, I know that you always living on the what next. When you're in the ring, are you thinking about what you're going to do after the fight?
Well,
Or do you live in the moment?
well, you have to live in. Well, I find that women and men are different, and and I was explaining that to people. I said, I told my wife, I said, you know what? I said, when I read this Bible and all this, I said, I realize how God is. I said, now, God made man first. I said, but when God had to come back and make the woman, so he had to make her better. So that's when he named a woman. Woman, and so it add on to the man. I said, so these are the reason why y'all can do things a little bit more than we can do. I said, because I'm trying to figure out how the woman can look at a baby and start talking to the baby who ain't saying nothing, the baby like this, and figure out everything by looking at this baby and all that. I said, multitask. Women can do a lot of things at the same time that, I need to concentrate. I said, wait a minute. Look, hey, I'm doing this. You can't be talking to me. I can't be hearing what you say and really think that I'm getting something out of this book. I'm trying to read. Like this, but it's obvious that she can read and do a lot of things. That is not me. I didn't become successful. I became successful because I put my mind on one thing when I did it. Then after I do that, then I do the next thing. Then I don't do a little this, do a little this, a little. I'm gonna complete this. Then after I get through this, then I get ahead. This is how it worked for me. And most of the men that I've run into who are successful, they do it just like me. I said, we got something in common. We do things the same way. And but women are able to do things a little different, and it worked for them. I realized that, well, okay then, but I can't do it that way. I do it this way. I'm gonna leave something out.
So tell me, in the becoming Holyfield, the making of a champion, when you are training for a fight, what's your routine like?
Well, it changed. It's amazing that I can talk about when I was a kid and lead people on to this is what it takes. It's all depending on what your age is, what level you in at the game. I remember when I first started, I go to practice every day and I wanted to do it, and I would sit there, and my whole inspiration was that I was trying to now I didn't have a living father. So the whole big thing, a part of success is impressing people. You got to have somebody to impress. Now, my mama was my ultimate person that I always wanted to impress because my mama was my everything. But I couldn't make her smile like my brothers and sisters made her smile. Because when they bring her money home and they give her money and do this and all this, I can see how, my mama would smile, be so thankful. And with me, I wasn't old enough to have a job. And all I know is if that phone rang, my school teacher calling my mama, and she looking at me like this, and it seemed like all I can remember, she always mad with me. So once I went to the boys club and started playing sports, if I win a trophy, I bring it home to mama, she's just so happy. She put it up there in the front room. Then every time someone come in, they ask her about it, which allow her to say, oh, that's my baby, he did that. And all this now, all that thrilled me. But at practice, that older man who named Carter Morgan, who was white, took care of me. So I impressed him. I did everything. I hit that bag as hard as I can. He's oh, you really, really, really work hard. And it would thrill me for him just to give me compliments and all this and stuff. And I didn't want to let him down. So that pushed me a lot further than the people who parents had money that they ain't worried about nobody buying them a hot dog. I know if I worked hard, that man gonna buy me a hot dog. I know I work hard, he gonna buy me something to drink, all these things. But sometimes when you have supportive family and don't nobody tell you have to impress nobody, you tend to get a little lazy. And so, I learned that even in training my son. And I'll tell him, I said, you know what your problem is? I said, you don't try to impress me. Only thing you think about, I'm your dad, and that's it. And you, I said, you're absolutely right. I said, but you got to want to impress me. I said, these other guys work hard because they see me. I said, do you notice when I come up, they hit that bag real hard. They hit it harder than you. I said, but when I come up, you don't do it. I said, because you don't think that you have to do anything. I said, I'm your daddy. You should never let nobody outwork you in front of me. I said, once you learn how not to let nobody outwork you in front of me, then you can develop the mind. Whenever I show up, I'm not going to ever let nobody work out, because that's how it was with me and my mama. Oh, shoot. My mama came up. Oh, I straightened up. I'm going to watch what I'm going to say. I'm going to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, all the time. I wasn't going to say, huh. And anything. It's a lot of things I couldn't do as my mama showed up. Then I learned how, when I got 15 and 16, to just be that way anyway. Why be different? Why?
Just be the same
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah, it's easy to be the same all the time than change up. Like that. So, that's been the key to my life.
So you are raising your children in the same spirit that your mother raised you. You trying to show them the same thing. So you hear your mother in you when you are disciplining your children.
Well, all the time, because the fact of the matter is, the difference is that, me being 45, I learned a lot of things. I learned not to get mad on different things that used to upset me. Because as a young boy growing up, everything they said nice was about girls. And I remember in school they said girls sugar, spice, everything nice. And said boys puppet all tails and snails and stuff like that. That used to bother me. Girls able to do things to boys. Boys weren't able to, you're a coward. You don't hit that girl back and all that. So, you're supposed to be strong. You got to put the girl on your back. She want to see how strong your dad is by getting on your back. So you have some money, you have to give her some money. Yeah, it was all these things that bothered me. So once I got older and I was start realizing everybody say, behind every good man is a good woman. And I used to get offended till I got older. Then when I got older, I said, you know what? They right. That's because the baby come from the woman, and the baby gonna be around the mother feed the baby to do this and all that. If a man is good, he gonna be working. He can't be playing with the baby and all this. He got to bring some. He had to put himself in a situation where the mother can do all these things and not have to work so hard. Because if she worked just as hard as a man, then she gonna be just as tired as. Then how she gonna give the baby the attention that the baby really need to be successful? So I realized that the difference between my brothers and sisters, my mother had a heart attack when I was a kid, so she was at home every day. And so my mother was so strict on me because she knew how long it'd take me to get from school. So if I was too late, my mama started walking towards the school. So wherever she catch me, and I'm gonna get hit from that point on back. So I became, through some misfortune, I became trained a little bit more better than my brothers and sisters, because my mother worked 10 to 10 with them. My mama didn't work with me because she had that heart attack, so she was there every day. So all these things that I was able to get from a mother who thought that she felt bad because she couldn't work. She really did. But then so in her old age, I said, Mom, just think about how you were blessed, and you didn't even think that you were blessed. I said, you raised me. I said, Mama, everybody, I said, who is that lady that raised you? I said, oh, that's my mama. She only had a 6th grade education. And like that, she had a lot of kids for a lot of different people, but she didn't quit. I said, this is the reason I'm not a quitter. I said, now, but as a kid, I was ashamed to tell anybody that, because I felt that, I didn't want them to think my mom was bad. But no one is bad. It's just you got to overcome some things.
You know what I find about women and men these days, but women in particular that have had children by multiple partners. Each person she has a child with, she's hoping that he's the last man. She's believing that this one is it. No woman sets out to have a bunch of baby daddies. It end up that way because they're still looking for their knight in shining armor. Because I used to have a stigma about that. You know, and it bothers me now when men say, "Oh, I don't want a woman with three kids," or this and that, and how they will belittle a woman and make her all kinds of things. But you never think about, I don't think people ever think about, that these women had dreams. They wanted to be loved, and they believed that that person was the one that was going to love them, and it just didn't work out. And so it ends up like that, you know. And so I get so sick and tired of folks labeling other folks because they just happen to love more than one or two, you know?
Well, I understand it greatly, because when you're not a quitter, you're not gonna let a situation stop.
Yeah, you gonna keep on trying to search for love.
Because I told people, they said, you know, I said, look, if I had to marry 100 times, then I would marry 100 times. I said, that's me. I said, because you know what? I said, because I don't believe in quitting. I said, you know what? A person make a choice to quit. I said, you know what? If you get two people who don't quit, at the end of the relationship, they're never going to be able, because they can never, I said, because that's what love is. Love has got part of forgiveness in. I said, so what can a person do that it makes you want to walk away from the person? I said, so if that's the case, because I explained to my daughter, I said, now, if that's the case, then you might as well make sure that ain't in it from the start, before you even like the person. When you look over there and see the person, attractive person, that person like you, then first thing you need to ask, do you do this? They said, why? Because you know what? Because this is the only thing I said, because it's real simple. If you can't live with it, not that you can't live with it.
Okay, I told you. Now, y'all really gotta stay tuned for next week, because it gets better. I could not shut them up. I was like, okay, can I just get one question in? You know, I really, he wouldn't say nothing bad about folks. I wanted some juicy stuff. He wouldn't say nothing bad about folks. But he gave me some insight. He really is good to the bone. But just watch. Okay, just watch. Thank you. Next week, y'all, same time, same bat station, same bat